So I just saw the Luther Vandross documentary, Luther Vandross, Never Too Much. And so we're going to talk about it. All right, let's get right into it. And so it's amazing, amazing career that Luther Vandross had, starting from, his younger ages. He discovered that his father had a passion for music as well. He was a singer as well. And he realized that he picked up that talent himself. I noticed throughout the documentary, people always put him in a box, as far as his artistry, as far as his music. I think a lot of people didn't realize before, this documentary. And I knew it, studying Luther throughout my years of music, studying his music. A lot of people didn't know he wrote a lot of his own songs, like So Amazing, Never Too Much, Any Love, And, going back to the documentary, people always put him in a box. Oh, you just a singer. Oh, you just a background singer. One part of the movie or the documentary, he did background for Roberta Flack. And, she saw the potential in him, to be a great artist. And so she kindly told him, not to sing anymore for her and do your own thing, because she saw that he was a songwriter, saw that he had his own artistry. And so, going back, rewinding back to his beginnings as a singer, he sung a lot of background. He sung in so many groups. He sung for Sesame Street. He did a lot of songs for Sesame Street as well. And so he accomplished a lot of things, being a awesome, one of the greatest singers of all times. He went through so many layers, of his artistry, so many layers of singing, so many layers of being a performer, being in the background. A lot of people criticize him because of his weight. He went through a lot because of his weight. That kind of held him back. He felt kind of ashamed of his image at most times. And we noticed in the film, a lot of he had a lot of female, artist influences, in his life, especially Dionne Warwick. Aretha Franklin was a mentor, or someone he looked up to. And you can see, if we look back to Dionne Warwick's career, look back at Aretha Franklin's career, that you can see the influence, the nuances that we see in Luther Vandross' performances, that he was highly influenced by these artists. Also, he was influenced by Diana Ross, the way she dressed, how elegant, she dressed during her time, even until now, she's still living. He journeyed through a lot of things, created his own group called Luther. And then, of course, eventually he emerged into the successful artist that he was until, sadly he passed away. And, he went through a lot. He went through, people was calling him the love doctor because a lot of his songs, was assisting in, love, making love, being romantic. He was the soundtrack of that time, even up into today. And so it was a lot that, this documentary covered about him, being, writing for David Bowie, writing for Aretha Franklin, really assisting in the sound. He was the only singer of his kind during the disco era. You can hear his vocals in a lot of the Nile Rodgers production songs during that time. And so, and that was a little part I didn't know before. He was a part of a lot of those huge productions of those songs during that disco era. And I was really amazed by that. He was highly influenced by different cultures of music. You know, Motown, you know, the Philadelphia scene, the Philadelphia movement, you know, with Gamble and Huff and those, you know, producers like that. And he sung background for a lot of those songs as well. And so it was just incredible seeing the great career that he had throughout those years. You know, of course, he had an issue, and that, you know, it's sad the way, you know, fame, you know, treats you sometimes, you know, how people treat you sometimes. You know, I know it's very depressing, you know, going to interview after interview, and people is you know, concerned about your weight, concerned about, you know, your sexuality. You know, he went through a lot of those things. And, you know, I'm kind of disappointed that, you know, some artists later on kind of opened up, you know, the closet of things that he was going through, you know, during his years, as far as his sexuality. You know, I think that's something that's private, you know, that's, you know, it's something that's, you know, artists, they may choose to share or they don't have to share. You know, that's just, you know, their privacy. And I think part of fame, I think it should be a balance between privacy and what you share to the public. And yeah, that was a part that was very, you know, touching, you know, as far as in reflection to Luther Vandross' life, that he struggled to find love. And they talked about the song "Any Love," how he was feeling. You know, he was looking for love. He was looking for that companion at the time, and at the same time he was struggling, as we see, possibly with sexuality. You know, we don't know. You know, it's not our business to know, you know, what he was dealing with as far as sexuality is concerned. But it's amazing how his career, you know, it's so many songs that he was the soundtrack of. I love the way they talk about how he covered, you know, songs, especially from like Dionne Warwick, Superstar, you know, the Carpenters, so many songs that he made his own. You know, he didn't just copy the song, he didn't just cover the song, but he made the song his own. And yeah, it was just a touching documentary. Of course, they show, you know, they really emphasize, you know, the issues he had with his weight. You know, once he got, you know, he left Epic and he signed to Clive Davis and his new label J Records at the time, where, you know, artists like Alicia Keys, you know, Mario, I believe, was on J Records. You know, it was a new label, because I believe at the time Clive Davis, you know, he left Arista and he went to J Records, and he wanted to have, you know, veteran artists on his label. And so that was a very interesting part as well. His last two albums was pretty good. You know, I've heard his last two albums, and you know, the way it ended, you know, it talked about Dance With My Father. That was a great song, great written song, you know, in reflection, talking about his father, you know, the times he had with his father. As we know, you know, his father passed away at a young, you know, when Luther Vandross was very young, and that was his last big song. You know, Luther Vandross, of course, he suffered a stroke and he passed away, unfortunately. But still, his legacy goes on. Like I said, great the way they put this documentary together. But I think this was a very good, very great documentary, well put together. I just love the way they really. I'm glad they didn't do a biopic. I'm glad they did it in a documentary way, because if they did it in a biopic way, I think some people may be displeased the way they you know, portrayed Luther Vandross. And so yeah, if you have CNN or, you know, later on Max or OWN network, definitely check this out if you're a true, or you just a Luther Vandross fan. So leave your comments what you thought about this review. Leave a comment, and also please subscribe to my channel. And until next time, all right, peace.